Good morning, everyone, or good evening for those of you that are tuning in from.
Yeah,
Yeah.
greetings.
Thank you all so much for joining us for the third and final day of our virtual edition of Nollywood and Hollywood. This is our third annual showcase, a collaboration between the University of Southern California's School of Cinematic Arts, O2A Media, and the American Cinematheque. We're very excited to see you all in person next year, if all goes well. But I'm also very pleased to be able to welcome people from around the world in this virtual edition. So thank you for joining us wherever you are. Tonight's film, Merry Men 2, Another Mission, will be screened in its entirety directly through the webinar. It runs just under 2 hours. And following that, we're going to have a Q&A with the director, Moses Inwang, producer, Darlington Abuda, actor, executive producer, Ayo Makun, and actress, Ufuoma McDermott. So I'm going to turn it over to Osei Oyamendan, the producer of the festival, to welcome our guest.
Hi guys, thank you so much for joining us for this third and final day. And we've had 2 great days. It's been absolutely brilliant. And I'm just really thankful that we have this full team from Merry Men 2 here. The director, Moses Inwang, the producer, Darlington Abuda, and Ayo Makun, the comedian, for just making the time. He had a very busy schedule today. I also want to thank, before we go on, the crew of the cast and crew of the Ghost and House of Truth yesterday. Very wonderful performance and very wonderful Q&A. So without much ado, we'll put the thanks to the end, but I want to introduce AY, the comedian, to introduce us to the film. And we'll start. AY.
Hello?
Hello? Yeah, AY, yeah, you can do it, yeah.
Okay, I can hear you now. There's a bit noisy here.
Oh, okay.
Should I?
Yeah, you can introduce the film now. Yeah.
Okay. Good evening from this part of the world. And should I go ahead and introduce Merry Men 2 now? Is it okay? I'll go ahead and do the introductions now.
Yes, please.
Yes, you can do the introduction now.
All right, thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. My name is AY. I'm an actor and, of course, the executive producer of Merry Men 2. It's such an honor to be a part of this event. And as a matter of fact, it's something that I hold to a very high esteem. And talking about Merry Men 2, it was a project, it was a dream come true on my part. And I was lucky and privileged to have respected actors in Nollywood to, join in bringing that dream to reality. And of course, I was also privileged to have the capabilities and in his capacity as a well-known Nollywood director, Moses Inwang, to interpret everything that came with it. And of course, Darlington Abuda is also right here online, the producer for Merry Men 2 and every other movies that has turned out to be a box office, hits movies is right here present, Darlington Abuda. So I'm just going to ask the rest of the world to sit back, relax, and see what we were able to do, what we're able to put together. Of course, we all know that Nollywood doesn't have the Hollywood budget, but we are very, very determined, and we keep pushing and changing the narrative around here. So I just want to ask you guys to sit back, relax, and enjoy Merriment 2. And of course, I'll be right back on the other side to take your questions. Thank you very much, and God bless you real good.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us now for our Q&A featuring the cast and crew of Merry Men 2. I just want to briefly say that if anyone would like to ask a question, the best thing to do is to put your question in the Q&A box, and we'll call on you individually, one by one, to ask your question live by making you a panelist temporarily, and then you can turn your video on. You can turn your microphone on. And I also wanted to say that we are going to place some information in the chat for you to take a look at something, a new initiative put out there by Netflix, who will be hopefully participating more and more as Nollywood and Hollywood continues in future editions. But we felt that it was particularly important to give them an acknowledgement because Merry Men 2 is now available in the US via Netflix. But let me welcome on the cast and crew of Merry Men 2. We have director Moses Inwang, producer Darlington Abuda, actor executive producer Ayo Makun, and actress Ufuoma McDermott. And we have our moderator for the day, Maceo Willis, who will take it from here. So hi everyone, please go ahead and turn on your videos and unmute your mics, and we'll get started. Hi, Maceo.
Hello, hello. Hopefully you can hear me.
Yes, perfect. I'll let you take it from here, and I'll just kind of fade into the background. But thank you so much for moderating today.
My pleasure, my pleasure. Great to be here. Great to have everybody with us. Darlington, Ayo, Ufuoma, Moses, and of course, Ose. Thank you all for joining us today. Thank you everybody who's either a first-time visitor or a repeat participant for Nollywood in Hollywood. It's our 3rd annual, as you may know. But welcome or welcome back to everybody. Hope you all enjoyed the films, especially today's film, Merry Men 2. So I guess to start us off, if y'all could just, I guess this is directed mostly to Moses and AY. If you could talk about the kind of progression of the filmmaking and maybe even what lessons were learned from the first Merry Men to completing the product of the Merry Men 2. I noticed you didn't necessarily have to have watched the first Merry Men to enjoy the second one, because I watched them out of order, so I was trying to make sure I understood what was going on. It was easy to follow without having seen the first one. But please share, the journey from, directing and producing, and how did that come about?
Moses.
Yeah, I'm right.
Okay, you can take it up first.
All right, yeah. So as a director, I came on board for Merry Men 1 was by a different director, also very talented and filmmaker. His name is Stalker. I came on board for Merry Men, and that was, getting a call from AY saying to another level, and wanted me to.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but Moses, I think your internet connection maybe isn't the best for having both video and audio. Try just temporarily turning off your video and see if we can get clean audio, because it's kind of hard to hear.
Thanks, Alex.
Is it fine now?
Go ahead and speak.
Is it fine now? Is it okay now?
Actually, that is better, yes.
It's clear, yeah.
So yeah, so I mean, so Clark called me up and says, "Hey, I need you to direct Merryman 2," and because Merryman 1 was such a big, had such a huge success in the box office, I felt like it was a privilege to have me want to further the lifeline of that franchise. Yeah, so I took it on with all pleasure, and I'm going to say this that the project is a very ambitious one. I mean, if you look at the script I was given to direct, from the script to what we have achieved, I'd say that it's a lot of ambition, considering um, the industry that we find ourselves in, and trying to achieve a film with as much um, um, stunts uh, that requires a lot of production value, that requires a lot of cast members, um, a lot of technical inputs as this one, and also based off the fact that the kind of budget that we are known to work with is not as is not as accommodating as what you have out there in Hollywood and maybe Bollywood. So we have to make do with what we have to achieve what you have seen tonight. Yes, so yeah, so that's why I've said it's an ambitious one. But we took the bull by the horn, and I had a very fantastic producer, an executive producer, and we're able to come up with something that you all have seen tonight.
Yeah. Okay. That was Moses, the director for Merryman 2. Mr. Moderator, can I take it up from there?
Yes, sir. We want to hear
Okay.
hear from you, definitely, please, and also talk about your process with being the executive producer and actor at the same time.
Oh yeah, it was very tasking, very very tasking, and we operate in an environment where you sometimes need to come out with your own project. So it's always very tasking when you want to double up, you want to be the actor, and at the same time, you want to uh, be the one that takes care of the invoices that comes through. So, Merryman One, happened, and we loved the way people talked about it. We loved, as a matter of fact, the audience members were the ones, who requested for Merryman 2, the way they're requesting for Merryman 3 at the moment now. And I'm thinking, since this music is sounding right to the ears of our audience, we have to play it not just twice, we have to think of coming back and do the third one. Uh, Being the executive producer was also very tasking. I mean, putting funds together. We operate in an environment where you don't readily have money waiting for you to execute this kind of project, where you have a good number of A-list actors that are known, around here, and it was tasking. But I'm very, very ambitious. I'm that kind of person. When I set out to do something, I go all out to achieve it. And many a times I've been favored with quality results. I mean, with Merryman One uh, taking care, I mean, doing pretty well at the box office. It was more than enough courage to embark on Merryman 2. And like you said, if you follow the story, Merryman 2 can outrightly stand alone without you, having to see Merryman 1. And that was very, very deliberate. And the minutes we got the vibe from the likes of Netflix and the rest of the other platforms that, you know, invest or buy into our work, we said we agreed that we needed to put in more work because, I mean, where we operate here, the cinemas normally would not give you all the money that you need, all the investment that you put in. So we can't actually say it's a perfect work. We cannot rightly say it's something we want to compare with franchise like Fast and Furious, but coming from our own background and what we've been able to put together, we'll say that we're able to tell a story, and we're able to make the rest of the world see it from an African perspective. Also understanding that Nollywood is going places, and I'm excited tonight the same way I was excited last year when we had the privilege of premiering the movie in Washington, D.C. I was excited to see
my hometown.
I was excited to see the international audience relating to the movie scene by scene, and that made my day. And tonight I shared that same excitement, and I'm also saying that we're growing and we're going to go places. And kudos to some of the cast members that are here, Ufuoma McDermott, thank you, and of course the director and my amiable producer, friend and brother that we've been working together for ages. We went to the university together. We've known ourselves for close to 20 years, and it's so good to see that we're able to make magic, and we're looking forward to more opportunities to make things happen and put Nollywood, on the map of the world positively, and by doing even much more.
The film you said was ambitious, and you kind of referenced Fast and Furious franchise, which it definitely had a feel of being clean and polished and, big budget, like a Bad Boys or Fast and Furious, or even, Italian Job, Lethal Weapon, one of those franchises where there's a lot of main characters and you're still able to kind of have a different storyline for each one. I noticed that you all had a lot of strong female characters, and the women were, taking the men out and physically and also professionally and artistically on the same level, if not overachieving from the, dynamic with the men. Is that a common theme, or is that something that you all promoted, purposefully, or is that kind of because that's maybe not as American as, some films where maybe the gender roles are a little different, but I wanted you to speak on the strong women characters and female leads that you incorporated.
We to start with, Merryman 1 was dominated by the Merrymen themselves, and then we're thinking doing Merryman 2, there will be that need to create an aesthetic balance whereby the audience members, they don't see us coming. They don't even know the direction where we're coming from. And what a better way to do it than to, bring in women. And of course, this part of the world, we believe strongly in our women. And as a matter of fact, they have some sort of dominating presence in the minds of the people around here. And you rather than fall into a place of criticism where you're not getting the women involved, we thought Merryman 2 would be a better way to initiate that idea by way of incorporating some women into it, and not just any set of women, a beautiful set of women who would have that aesthetic value, and of course, who is going to match the men, force by force in all ramifications, in all capacity. And we achieved that with Merryman 2. As a matter of fact, that was the tonic. That was what we noticed that people were looking at for. It was, to bring in, they had taken other guys And by the time the trailer came out, people were already looking forward to seeing the bikers, the ladies doing their thing. And for me, it was strategic, and of course, it was also designed to create that balance before we have the women take over the cyberspace and begin to accuse us.
Yeah, I also wanted to talk about the different themes that you guys incorporated. So there was some comedy, drama, romance with the characters, and family dynamics with brother and sister, and the whole, kidnapping versus plotting against your rival from the previous movie. Describe that process, I guess, in direction or producing, and how easy was that to do as far as successfully combining all those different aspects, even some, martial arts scenes and close combat fighting, things like that?
When you're trying to find your place in the market, in the business of making movies, you tend to want to, have, touch different segments, because sometimes you never really can tell which is really going to work for the product, for the movie itself. And for me, comedy is a line that anybody who knows AY would quickly, if you want to go see an AY's film, the first thing that comes to mind, we're just going to go get some laughter. It's like seeing a Kevin Hart do a film, and then you're seeing Kelvin, aim in all seriousness from the beginning to the end. About creating that balance with comedy is something that is synonymous with the AY brand, and as traced to other box office movies that I have made in the past, from 30 Days in Atlanta, a trip to Jamaica, 10 Days in Sun City, and right here where we have Merriment. It's always deliberate to have comedy in between. And of course, romance is another strong point. I am one of those people who also believe that you can use movies to correct some norms in our society, some things that are not really going well here. And such things comes through romance, comes through comedy, especially in this part of the world. Comedy is very, very important, and comes with every other thing that you see, that you saw in Merriment too. And so I would say again, that was deliberate, and even if we're going to embark on another project, it will still have all these themes and all these elements put together, because we have also come to discover that it is something that is working for the brand, and people tend to, some even complain that in Merriment 2, they got less comedy compared to Merriment 1, meaning that we were getting too serious this time. Please bring it back home, put some comedy in there and whatever. But like I said, we just try to create that balance whereby it will, but what is important is that all of these, are interwoven. All of these are in line with the story that we want to tell and well interpreted. Maybe the director can also take it up from there and let us know how he was able to apply his sense of interpretation, directorial approach to, bringing all these elements together into Merriment 2.
Yeah, Moses, please.
Yeah, let me quickly add to that. Can you hear me? Yeah, to quickly add to that, I think having all of these elements, all of these genres compressed into one is in international practice, really, because a lot of all the blockbusters that you have out there in Hollywood talk about the likes of Avengers, some of these huge franchises. you see them having it's always usually action packed, but then they give the audience a soft landing by infusing a lot of comedy into it, and then a lot of drama as well to drive home the emotional aspect of the story. So it's basically in line with international practice to make the film, to make the content wholesome for the audience. For whatever you want, whatever you like. If you like drama, if you like comedy, if you like action, we have it in this one film. And yeah, so it's in line with international practice. You see a lot of Hollywood blockbusters do that as well. So that's what we're trying to achieve, putting it on that pedestal. And for us, it will be easy for a Hollywood studio to achieve that, but it will be extremely difficult. It was extremely difficult for us to do that because of the differences in the kind of budgets that we work with compared to what they work with. We can't, even if we were able to raise the funds to make this kind of movie, we couldn't because of our market and the reach that we've got in our market, recoup the funds. So we had to, find a way to streamline to achieve everything we had to do with the budget that was available to us to do at the time. We're talking about the action, the bikers, the stunts, the fight choreography, all of these things require time and a lot of rehearsals and a lot of on-set destruction to achieve, and this obviously will sum up into what the fund a high amount of funds required. Yeah, but that's why I said at the beginning that this was a very, very ambitious project because it's almost impossible to achieve with the funding that we had. It means that the film probably has its shortcomings, but it's not because we couldn't have achieved it. It's because we were trying to match what we were trying to achieve with the film with the budget available to us on our market. So we can actually do better than what we have, and I think we try as much as possible. For you to even recognize some of these things, it means that we actually did achieve some of them. For you to recognize that there was action and there was the stunts and there were fight scenes and then the drama and then a lot of lead acts in this film, and they were all put together with their individual stories, and we were able to fuse them into one story that we were able to achieve the set out objective of the film.
So what was the budget, if you can say, and how would you compare it to the typical Hollywood blockbuster film budget, if you can't say?
There's no basis for comparison. Let's just leave it at no basis for comparison. The budget is big, especially if you're looking at it in our own currency here in Nigeria to achieve Berryman 2. It's big for a Nigerian flick or a flick from Africa. It's very, very big. And I know a lot of producers who come to me and say, you are very daring. I wouldn't try such. So, but in comparison to the Hollywood budget, is raised to power zero. I can't even make the comparison right here. But like I said, it's the growing industry here, and we strongly believe that we are going to get there someday, especially now that we're beginning to see that attention is being given to our industry. We are beginning to have that vibe and feel of foreign investors coming to see how we can, collaborate and take it to another level. So then I can confidently open my mouth and tell you the budget.
Understood. As I said earlier, it was not obviously a you know, lower budget or limited budget project from the outside looking in. But I just wanted to know, were there any struggles, or even for AY particularly, how was the transition from you becoming one of the biggest comedians in Africa to a star actor? Did that play into the budget? Did that help out the budget, or was that a factor in seeking funding?
Oh, well, I see myself more as an entertainer. Many a times it's difficult to differentiate AY the actor, AY the comedian, AY the movie maker, or what have you. But everything works together. Worked together for good for the project, Merryman 1 and of course Merryman 2. The concept of show business is well defined. You must have something to show for the business to come. So for me, I've been able to build a brand that has registered on the minds of the people, a brand that is lovable, likable in terms of volume and quality. So that I would say yes, in a way it helps. It's like if, for example, as a stand-up comedian, I already have close to 16 million followers on my social media platform. So if I'm doing something, it's a plus already. So it means that I already have 16 million people following me who would love to see what I'm doing, and or who would love to support or be a part of that thing that I'm doing, you know, to either, gain some sort of branding for themselves as well, or showcasing or whatever. So it played in, and it was a plus for Merryman 1 and 2.
Thank you. I don't want to neglect our lone female panelist, Ufuoma. Can you speak on your role, and also, how you prepared to play Zara, and, are we going to see Zara in part 3? There's some open-ended questions there. Speak on that, please.
Well, I think first of all, that's prophetic for the part 3. But I think one of the biggest dreams of an actor is to be on a project, first of all, that is already from the onset considered a big project. That kind of helps your morale already, because you know that there are certain things that would already have been handled from pre-production, that would take care of your own ability to interpret your role. So I think I was blessed in the sense that, I was working with a cast and a crew who already have, so first of all, there was a first part to this movie. So the actors are already ingrained in their characters, so bringing their characters to life in part 2, could have just been a walk in the park. But it was easy for me because, I had a director who understood the direction that he wanted for the project. I was also blessed to have, a trainer on set, because I got really scared many times when I had to do certain things, that was, very Zara. And I was scared because I thought I was going to hurt someone else or hurt myself. But I was just blessed to have professionals on set to say, just come this close. It will look like you're hitting his neck, but you're not, So, I could get away with just being scared. And it was a blessing in many forms, really. Just being on set with the actors who knew how to bring their own characters to life would rub off on you as an actor. So first of all, seeing the character and seeing that the character was one mean girl, she was like bad. And, I liked the fact that I could, become that character. It was all sorts of blessings for me, honestly. Not to say that the pay was also good motivation. So yeah.
That's
Why
great.
not?
That's great. Darlington, speaking of pay, what can you give us from the producing aspects, some behind the scenes, concerns or challenges that you had, and how did you pull all this together, this ambitious project with all these strong lead actors and egos? How did you pull all that together?
Is that to me?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. Hi everyone. Thanks for watching. Regarding the question directly, it was one time. The Merryman project. I think the very first the beauty is in the title. It's always a merry time on the Merryman project, and we had a merry time when we were doing part one, and we also had an extremely merry time doing part two. Had a fun director. My EP friend, lead actor, was also highly supportive, and then the cast were all professionals to a fault. Everybody brought their A games up to 1,000%. The crew also came in strong because everyone wanted to ensure that the sequel that we were working on surpassed the accolades of the initial one. So everybody came in strong to try and ensure that we made magic. And by the time we took the film to the cinema, we could see that all that we had sweated upon, all the sacrifices we had made, actually came out well when we saw the audiences enjoying it. So I believe as we worked on the budgets, worked with the budget that we had to work with, which my EP has said is raised to power zero. But just to give you an idea, I would say biggest films here would gross roughly, from the box office, would probably gross about $2 million. So that will give you an idea of what I would want to spend on a film, knowing where I am grossing into, you know. So knowing where we're going to, we had a particular budget, but we wanted to ensure that what we had, what we're making, would be interesting not just to a typical Nigerian audience, but to Nigerians in diaspora, to international audiences, so that anyone that sees the film would be able to enjoy the story we're trying to tell, to get the comment we're to portray, to get the essence of the actions and everything that we're trying to say. So it was the capital expended on the project was not just in finance, but also a lot of human and creative character. And for that, I give kudos to the director, because he looked at the project, looked at the budget, looked at everything we had, and used a very creative and imaginative way to tell the story, just so that when you're watching it, and even if you eventually know what budget we worked with, you would be in doubt that how could they have pulled something so good together with something so meager. Yeah.
That was pretty apparent. I don't know if Moses wants to weigh in on that, but also if you all could talk about the budget, and then how did Netflix come in? Did they come in after the film was already finished and distributed in Nigeria, or were they along earlier in the process? And congratulations on being the highest or second highest grossing film in 2019. I think it says you grossed about 240 million.
Yes, that's right.
You could say that you can put the naira in front of it.
Naira instead of dollars. Naira, not dollars. Okay.
So if you say dollars, I'm just gonna ask you for my money. You have to pay me right here.
Understood.
The Netflix, the license stayed after, they came in after production. I think Merryman 1 got on Netflix, I think just after we finished production for Merryman 2. So there was a lot of good buzz from Nigeria, those who had been waiting for the film, who had heard about it when it was in the cinemas, and they have been waiting to get access to it. So when it finally came to the international space via Netflix, there was a hunger for it, and so the Netflix was very interested in accessing the sequel. So they came in after production and wanted it for their platform as a follow-up to Merryman 1, which was already there and already getting good vibes and good reviews from those who had seen it. So they came here after the production.
Okay, I don't want to cut anybody off, but I also want to give some time with the Q&A from the audience. So, Alex, can you?
Yeah, I'm going to welcome people over one by one, and you're welcome to turn on your video if you like. We'll start with Michael Kolawole. So Michael, I'm going to move you over right now, and then I'll place a running list of who's next so that you can be camera ready.
Thanks. Okay, we're welcoming Michael. There we go. Camera, audio. Go ahead, Michael.
Hi. Good evening. It's evening.
Good evening.
Okay. All right. Very, very fantastic movie, I must confess. And kudos to AY, Ufuoma, and Ramsey. I actually thought Ramsey would be here tonight. So I'm actually a very, very big fan of you guys. And I was seeing Ramsey and Ufuoma as basically Hollywood actors here in Nollywood. So I don't know what went wrong. You guys should have been born in Nigeria, though. That's on the light side. Okay.
It's not a mistake.
Okay. All right. So very, very quickly, I want to ask AY. I've seen basically all of AY's movies. Tonight will be the second time I'm seeing Merryman 2. The first time I think I saw it at the cinemas. Yeah. I think I did the both installments. And I want to ask, okay, we know you as a comedian, and you often play very, very different role, and you are able to merge, your comic side with, doing something different. We are seeing you basically as a quote unquote Tyrese Gibson. You were very, very, very funny. You were dropping clips, and I was like, okay. So on sets, how were you able to, really, really bring those two extremes together on screen, and you actually delivered seamlessly? What's your motivation? How do you do it?
Well, first and foremost, I would say that I'm a trained theater artist that a lot of people do not know about. I'm a trained actor, and I wouldn't, in all modesty, I wouldn't say I'm the very best when it comes to interpretation. But when you set out and put your mind into delivering something that is meaningful to you as an individual, and also something that is also going to give your career a boost, you would go the extra mile to try and do what you have to do. On set, it was pretty difficult because there are some things, my producer is here. Sometimes those things that you see comes with mixed feelings. Like, it's just with that ability of the show, no matter what, the show must go on. Maybe we're running late and they're giving me signals that we're going to run into some extra budget. And then I also need to interpret my role at that point in time, but we still just have to go on and do what we have to do. So it's a given for me as an actor. I trained, as a matter of fact, let me not take all that glory. Let's say it's a God-given talent. And with all of that put together, and also working with fantastic actors like the likes of Ramsey Noah, G. Mike, Ufuoma McDermott, you wouldn't expect me to play any less. I would try to want to catch up with their skills and their talents, and do my beats as well. So I would say they also helped.
Fantastic. Just one more question, actually. And you seem to have this magic touch when it comes to dishing out your movies. I must confess, you seem to have this magic touch. It seems you understand the audience. You know exactly what we want, and you know how we want what we want. So you're basically like this mama put that whenever you go there, they serve you that amala exactly the way you want it. You understand? Exactly. So it seems you know us very well. So I don't know if there are a few tips that you can share with budding filmmakers like myself, because definitely we also have this ambitious a very, very ambitious project, and we are just waiting. As a matter of fact, some of us have been waiting. You don't pay, but we know that okay, sooner or later, even if it takes 10 years, that ambitious project will still come out. Now,
amen.
So when the ambitious project finally comes out, there are few tips that it could be big, it could be great, but would it resonate with the audience? So I don't know if there are a few tips about the African audience, the Nigerian audience that that you can share with us based on your understanding.
Yeah, I think it's one question that I've been asking myself as well. How do you do it? How do you do it? First of all, I always want to thank God for the grace to deliver, to come up with that product that is appreciated by a whole lot of people. But at the same time, I mean, it's one thing to have the grace, it's one thing to have divine favor, but it's another thing to link all of that with talent and what have you. Maybe the way I started pretty small. I started from doing skits, and from doing those skits, by the time I put them online, I see the way people appreciate it. So it gave me an idea of the things that people would love, things that they would like, what they would love to see, and what have you. And so from doing those skits, I decided to do my first film. And from doing that very first one, the minute it was more like just go out there, carry out this experiment. It was more like just go risk it, do something. And it became the highest grossing movie in the history of Nollywood at the time. And also put us in the Guinness Book of World Records. So that was a plus, and that opened my eyes to say, okay, you must be doing something right. Yeah, understanding your audience is very, very important, and a lot of people play down on publicity. They just want to do a good film, and they don't make provisions for promotions, which is equally as important as putting the flick together, because you can have that beautiful work, and because the people are not aware of it, they won't be able to see it. And what that means is that every investment that you've put in that pretty good work will just be in vain. So anytime we set out to do a film, we must create that balance whereby from the onset we'll say to ourselves, this is going to be for promotions. And of course, do the work itself. And getting the right people involved in the job too is something that we don't change that. We do not play down on getting the right people, if in the capacity of actors, in the capacity of crew members, and what have you. We just do what we do. And as a matter of fact, it's the basic, it's a normal thing that every other person does, but how it elevates the AY brand is something that, like I said earlier, I'm still asking the question to AY, how do you do it? Because I just do it the way others do it, and it brings the result that I expect. And for me, I just see it as grace, laced with hard work. And I'm very, very strong on promotions as well. Very, very strong on promotions. I do not play down on promotions.
Just to follow up, thank you, Michael. Thank you. Just to follow up, how important is it to have a team around you to make sure that your brand and things like marketing and promotions are taken care of after, you know, the work either in front or behind of the camera is done? How important is that? And anybody can speak on this.
It is extremely important. Extremely important. There are a lot of people who just believe in having that shortcut. Let me just do a good film. Let me just ask one or two of my friends, or you can just help me tweet about it. Just help me put it on your own platform, and that's it. It goes beyond all of that put together. You must find a way to reach out and make that beautiful work of yours to land on every doorstep, or the information about it to go around. And for me, I have a team. To start with, we do research. We look at what is trending at the time. We lash into what is trending to advocate, to promote and let people know of the work that we're doing. We relate. We create the hashtag for our films from the very beginning of shoots. We create it. We know where we're headed. So we create the hashtag, and it becomes something that is registered on the minds of the people from the very beginning. It will take another 1 year, AY and this thing we're promoting. And people will be like, come on, this film, you're still on location. You're still shooting. How come you're promoting? And sometimes people even accuse us or try to send some warnings ahead and say, you're giving out a scene or two or three, you're giving out the scenes in the movie, is you giving away the entire story. People are going to tell the story from just coming on your page and what have you. But we do it in a way that will leave you with that question, you asking yourself the question, what's going to happen next? I need to see this movie. And it will give you every reason to want to, see your films. And I give all of this to our ability to promote, having the right team to do what is necessary in line with promotions. And when I say promotion, I mean promotion across board. Online promotion where you want to find us on Twitter, you want to find us on YouTube, you want to find us on Facebook, Instagram, and what have you. And then we also do physical promotion. We print out flyers. We go to different joints, bars, churches. We drop those flyers. We are in your face. You're going around, you're driving on the street, you see us on that billboard. You see a bus drive past you, you see us on it. You tune on your radio station, you're hearing about the film. You put on your TV, you're seeing us. You go online, you're seeing us. So we get into you in a way that you'll be like, okay, you know what? I just have to see this and get it done with. So we create that, we make you want to see it, we give you reasons to see it, and you would definitely go out and see it. And all of this comes with a budget, in line, ready-made for this to happen. So for anybody that is going to embark into the project of movie making, you should have it in mind that you may be the best director, you may be the best actor, you may be the best producer, you may be the best of anything in line with production. But if you leave promotion out of all of this, you're still going to face some sort of relegation when others will be thinking of, going for championship from premiership and the rest.
Okay, good advice. Having a brand, a plan from the beginning, marketing and promotions, and of course, budget. Appreciate the insight. We have another patiently waiting audience member who has a question. Oluyinka, hope I pronounced your name right. Please join us.
Hi, good evening, everyone. And should I say congratulations on such a fantastic movie? I had a couple of comments and a question. The first one was to acknowledge the way in which you had done well the Nigerian thing. Well, I suppose it's the business thing of pulling different conventions, drawing on different conventions, generic conventions, so that we could then be able to relate with different kinds of audiences. But also importantly was the fact that there was that Nigerianness, even though it felt like a Nollywood in Hollywood, there were some of those things that I feel could only be appreciated by the Nigerians. So for instance, the fact that I'm in pain was something that we it's an in-joke for us Nigerians that unless the audience member who is non-Nigerian has insight into what's going on, they may not really appreciate. And I guess these are the points that show really that you do study your audiences. You also study, just to add to what you said earlier on about the formula that makes your work work for the audiences. You know what the audiences want. You relate with the challenges, their contemporary challenges, and you're commenting on those things that they care about. So they come into the film, into the cinema, and they come away feeling that somebody cares for them and understands them, and they have some talking points. So those are some of the observations, and of course the dialogue, as has been said, or the lingo, the native lingo that is thrown into the conversation. My question, though, oh yeah, sorry, I needed to commend you for the strong female leads. Maceo, you picked up on all the comments I wanted to make, so well done for the strong female leads. And they're not just there as objects, they're not being objectified, they're there as females with a mission, with a purpose, and treated with respect. So kudos to you, Former. Well done. And for that reason, that now leads me to my question, which is, rather than having another spin-off, rather than having another sequel, could we possibly be having like a spin-off? Because the fear of Zara seemed to be the beginning of wisdom in this film. So can we create a superhero? What happened to her while she was away? There's still something mysterious about her. So maybe we could have a superhero film. Who knows? We've done action, so maybe it's our time to do a superhero film. And why not start with a woman, Zara? Yeah? That's my question, and maybe comment. Sorry, it's a bit dark in here, but that's where I am.
Yeah, thank you very much. And first of all, let me. I know Ufuoma is smiling wherever she is right now, and that I can say. So it's very, very possible to swing it in that direction. Very, very possible. And I wouldn't say you're taking some things off our head, but let me just say that in a way you just said something that we have running, in my head that I'm also that I was planning to share with the rest of the team. So it's very, very possible, and all we can say is watch out.
We watch the space. Thank you, and all the best with it. Well done.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. As we've seen from the Avengers and X-Men and other franchises, there's always sequels and spin-offs and movie studios like that because it comes with a prepackaged audience. So with that being said, let's move on to our next audience question from Diane Farrington. Join us, Diane.
Hello.
Hello and welcome.
Hello, thank you. Hi, AY. How are you?
Hi,
Hi.
I'm very well.
Yeah, good to see you. You've done a very good job again. I commend you. You have such great talent. You really do. A natural talent. And as you said, a God-given talent. I was wondering if you'd speak to your influences for your comedy and for filmmaking in general.
Sorry, I didn't get it, Dan.
Okay. I was wondering if you would speak to your influences for your comedy. What made you, what gave you the inspiration to do comedy?
Oh, well, my environment. I was born in a place known as Warri, Delta State, Nigeria, the South area. And when you're from people from Delta, uh, they are known to be very, very comical, extremely comical. As a matter of fact, if you hear reggae music, the same way reggae music is synonymous, to Jamaicans with Jamaicans. If you talk about comedy, uh, where I was born, that's it's a core practice. It's something that they do. Everybody's funny. The one-liners from mothers to their children to everybody all put together. So I mean, I gain inspiration, uh, growing up from that environment. And as a matter of fact, I improved on it. I also grew to see myself as a social commentator. And as a social commentator, what we do, we tend to get inspiration from things that are happening around us, be it politics, be it lifestyle, anything. And all we just need to do is to put one on one together and infuse them into our content. Maybe either by going up on stage to do stand-up comedy or doing skits or putting them in the movies in a way that people can relate to those ideas and what have you. So that's it, basically.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you so much, Diane, for your question. We also have Ursa Berry. Please.
Hi.
Please.
How are you? I was just wondering,
greetings.
How is it going? I was just wondering, how did you finance how did you finance the production for the film? How did you finance the production, the casting, the crew, to put everything together? Because it looks like a big production.
Oh, yes. Financing it wasn't easy. Like I always say there was one time I got this, I think someone asked this question from CNN the last time, and the answer was just direct. I already have a brand and a project that works. I organize one of the biggest stand-up comedy shows in this part of the world. So it's like, taking some of the proceeds from doing stand-up comedy and transfer into this project as well. And of course, I will extend some kudos to some partners who also believe in the brand. Film One, they came in, to support as well. Film One, and of course, one of the not a production outfit, but basically, basically, I also gained support from brands as well, who would come in, maybe just coming to have like brand presence in the film, and Megastorm is paid to support the project as well. And then basically that's it. But the chunk of the money comes from the AY brand, by extension, the other projects that we do. And we also tend to do something, we keep whatever profit we make from this one and just see what we need to add in preparation for another. So it's a template that has been working for us since we came into the industry with 30 Days in Atlanta. So the profits from here, you direct into another project and put it out there.
Wonderful.
Great question. Thank you so much. I think we are almost done, but just to kind of tie things up, I wanted to reiterate a point that someone else mentioned about having, different dialects, or, maybe a combination of Yoruba and Igbo and Pidgin and, English all in the same film, sometimes subtitles, sometimes not. And how do you keep true to your audience, but also include the wider audience of people who may not be familiar with Nigerian or African culture? And for Ufuoma, we had a little cliffhanger at the end about Zara's son and who is the father. Okay, so whenever you can.
Do you want us to answer that now, or you want to see it in the next flick?
Oh, of course, we want to see it in the following flick, of course.
At least you cannot deny who his mother was. That was enough. At least you know his mother.
Appreciate
but we can assure you that the boy is not a bastard.
Exactly, he does have a father, but at least you know his mother. That should suffice for now.
Understood. That was a cliffhanger. We are all wondering the answer to these questions.
We're still leaving you hanging.
Okay, well, let's go back to the first part of that question about integrating the languages and, kind of inside jokes. And I noticed some recurring lines, which I've heard, God will punish you and things like that, which I feel like it makes me want to go visit Nigeria more, just because you give people a glimpse of how people talk and also how it's different from, maybe British English or American English or just English outside of the continent. And you did a pretty good job of kind of incorporating the different languages, but it's still tied together.
Ufuoma did a bit in linguistic and what have you. I know she's going to come in, but let me just say my part. I mean, I'm excited that you just said God will punish you now, and I won't say anything to you, but I will take it that you are beginning to get it as well, because I mean that's what we get when we see some of these foreign movies. I mean, we grew up singing the Indian songs without even knowing the meaning. We grew up, seeing scenes and most of those Chinese films without even knowing what they're saying. But thanks to subtitling, where you tend to just understand it, and people just get what they need to get from the subtitles and what have you. So it would be good for people to learn something, understand it, use it over there the way we use theirs over here as well, to buttress a statement, or to just feel like we are one of them sometimes. So just the way they say music itself is a universal language. No matter whatever the language is, no matter what the language is, in as much as the music is good, you're going to play it. And same applies to movies as well. When people see the strong interpretations, when they tend to get a basic understanding of whatever it is that greets their visage or visages, they tend to want to connect. So I would say that the international audience should find a way to connect, apart from just following the subtitles, where they can at least learn one or two things. And so after that, you're going to be seeing more. You're going to be seeing more infusements of Yoruba, Igbo, Pidgin, because I know that we can't speak, we can be Americans more than the Americans. We can be more British than people from Britain. So we have to market our culture. We have to make people understand what we have, and so people like you can look at me tomorrow and say, "Oh, well, God will punish you."
Understood. Yeah, it was subtle enough that we didn't feel like it was heavy-handed or forced, but it was prominent enough where you could kind of see some patterns, or you pick up some cultural things that you may not learn by watching, a video trailer or going to a website or Wikipedia or whatever. So that was well done as far as incorporating that. And Americans don't really like being told what to do, so it was good for us to see that, and then also to pick up on things, so you feel like you have an inner kind of
connection.
Yeah, connection to the continent, and it kind of makes sense with recent social issues and political issues that are going on now. So we appreciate that connection, further connection to the diaspora and to the continent.
Thank you.
Any last words from Ufuoma or Darlington? Please weigh in.
Let me, just to add to what Ewaya said, and in rounding up, really, the first thing you must understand for any work of art is your ability to stay true to every character's characteristics. So if my character would normally say, God will punish you, at some point, truth be told, the subtitling may not do justice to what that character means or what that character intends, right? So you would have to get used to the fact that this is what this character says. And then, luckily or unluckily, you might run into a Nigerian and you say the same thing and they give you another context to those exact words, right? So if my character may say things like, you don't understand, I'm talking to someone at every point, maybe after 2 sentences, I say, you don't understand, you don't understand. So in the context of the English language, you would interpret that to mean, do you understand? But in the context of what I have been saying to that character or to someone else, based on my character, it may mean something entirely different, So we must understand that we have to stay true to every character. So every infusion of girls, every infusion of language, every infusion of even nuances, is just about staying true to that character, and that's what we try to ensure. So AY's character, for example, is the core worry guy, So even though he's a city guy, he's been around the city and all, this is what he brings to the table, and you have to take him with those nuances because it adds to his character and it makes his character unique. So whether you understand it from the film or not, you just take and you accept the character with those nuances. And then you run into a Nigerian and you say, oh, I heard this, in this movie. And they might give you another context to what it is that you understood, But I think it just makes filmmaking interesting, really. I think it just makes it interesting.
Thank you. Well said. Darlington.
Thank you so much. It's been a fun time. We've enjoyed the questions, and I hope we've been able to share enlightenment regarding our production process, thought process as we made the movie. And regarding the last comments we've all made, there was a time I thought English was universal. I felt so if I say it here, you would understand it, everybody would understand it. But as I grew older and traveled a bit more, I realized that English is unique to every culture. So I may say the same thing as I would say here, and everybody in Nigeria would understand me. I would say it in New York, and only the Nigerians there would understand me. And to a typical New Yorker, it's almost as if I'm not speaking English, So our films, just the same way we've learned about the American culture, British culture, and different cultures through their films, it's good that through our films, those outside, both Nigerians in diaspora and the international audience, are beginning to learn how we speak English, how it's unique to us, and also the little personality traits that Nigerians have in the way they communicate. So a God will punish you can actually mean different things depending on the context. So don't go saying it anyhow. It can actually mean an insult in a particular context. It can also be funny in a different context. So we speak basically, especially when we're doing the pidgin thing, it's contextual. It's the way and manner in which I'm speaking to you at this time gives meaning to what I'm saying. If you say it in a different time and place, that same phrase can mean a whole different thing to a different person at a different time, a different place. So it's the way it is said, gives it. So we actually. Sorry?
I said it can get you smacked somewhere.
Yeah, it can get you that somewhere. So we're enjoying the fact that you caught those things from the film and you enjoyed it, and a few others also who have seen it outside have also mentioned little things they got. Both the Nigerians who follow the news in Nigeria, like I think Olienka that was talking about the I'm in pains. It's an inside joke, but if you follow Nigerian politics, if you follow Nigerian news, once you see it, it's universal to you also. So I appreciate everyone who saw the film and who saw it again tonight through the Nollywood and Hollywood. I appreciate the fact you enjoyed it, and we hope that through the future thoughts that we have concerning the Merry Men franchise, all cliffhangers and all questions will be answered. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
In order to add to what Darlington said, I'm in the mood for Thanksgiving at this point in time. Thank you very much, Nollywood, for this wonderful opportunity to share, to showcase, and by extension, put our product out there as well for others to see what we are capable of doing. I still believe, I still get to hear people say that when they talk about Nigeria or when they talk about Africa, they still believe that there are some places where Africans are jumping from one tree to another like monkeys. And so because sometimes some of the things that people get to see out there about Nigeria, mainly the negative, but good enough. This is also a way of showcasing our talents, because Nigeria as a country, we are blessed with different talented human resources. And Merry Men 2, in a way, has shown that to many of you that are with us here tonight. So I want to say thank you very much for the opportunity. And we're looking forward to working again, to meeting again, or have the opportunity to work or do something together. So thank you very much, and God bless you real good.
Jose, I'm going to leave the final word over to you, but thank you everyone so much for joining us this afternoon, for showcasing all of your talent and taking this time to speak with our audience.
Yeah, thank you so much, Alex. I think we couldn't have asked for a better ambassadors for Nigerian culture, for Nigerian film, than the panel we had tonight. And thank you so much, everybody, for making the time. I knew it was hard for AY to be here, but he's been here all along. He was supposed to be here for like 5-10 minutes, but he gave up something to be here. So I thank you so much. And to everybody watching, I hope this pandemic that's led us to discover this will keep you all involved. It's been fantastic. I'm looking at the list of where people are tuning in Pakistan. I didn't know they watch Nigerian films in Pakistan, UAE, Israel. So we have people from all over, new audiences. So thank you so much. I want to thank every filmmaker that's been here, from Living in Bondage, Merriment 2, The Ghost and Acts of Truth. I want to thank the Ambassador Innocent Iwejo, Mrs. Lara Kunobi, Emeka Mba, and the jury for picking this fantastic film. Dakori Akonde, Kemi Adetiba, Steve Dukas, Richard Dominic, and Mike Inshoinka. Thank you so much. To Pasa, to my crew here, Michelle Asabo, Maceo, thank you so much for a wonderful moderation. I think that's the word. I don't want to kill my English.
My pleasure.
Chris Ingram, thank you so much for your support. Bayo Abiodun, Wale Likpede, Elianya Ndukwela, Ejiro Jukene, and many, many others. A lot of people ask us, how do I follow? How do I do? This is a completely volunteer organized event. It's USC, the Egyptian, but we need a lot of help. So if you want to help, come in. Follow us. I forgot. The Instagram is, the Instagram is Nollywood in Hollywood, LA. And Facebook is Nollywood in Hollywood. So follow us, and it's been wonderful being here with everybody for the last 3 days. And I want to thank this panel again for a fantastic, fantastic job tonight. So until the next time, we hope it's going to be live. We'll see you again, Alex. And finally, I have to thank Alex. Without Alex, we're not doing this. I know it's USC, it's everybody. Without Alex, we're not doing this tonight. Alex, thank you so much for everything. Gwen at the Egyptian, I don't know if she's watching, but thank you. And I think I've said enough. Thank you. Thank you so much, everybody. See you next time.
Thank you
All right. Very much.
Everyone else out there.
Thank you.
We'll see you in 2021.
Thank you, everyone.
2021. See you guys live.
Yes.
Live and in person.